Good. Good boy. He's a good boy. Good boy. Good. Good. Good boy. Good. What's this, Herbie? Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Nice. Good boy. Good boy. What a good boy you are. Good boy. So now Herbie's quite comfortable with the open carrier with the mat in it. So I'm just going to place the lid on it. Oh, no problems at all. Good boy. So we reward that. And we can feed also through the vents at the back here, encouraging them right the way through into the carrier. Good boy. And those long treats are quite good for that you can break off, or you can feed small biscuits, as long as you've got a cat that doesn't grab at your fingers. Now at the moment, oh there we go, I was going to say Herbie's not so comfortable because not all 4 feet are in yet, but he's getting braver. There we go, good boy. And see, there's a high rate of reinforcement of food here. I'm feeding quite continually. Good boy. So I'm just going to feed Herbie a few more treats through the slats at the back of his cat carrier, which encourages the whole body into the cat carrier. I think he's just digging around for those because they've gone down the side of his blanket, which is good because he's got a bit of a game to do there. We're just going to wait this out and see if he reverses out or whether he turns himself around. He's still looking for his treats at the moment. But this is good because as he's spending time hunting for the treats, he's not having time to think that it might be not a nice place to be. We've spent time prior to this making sure the mat's a positive place and the mat inside the half cat carrier is a positive place. I'm just going to fix the mat for him. Good boy! And you see he voluntarily went back in there. So we'll feed him a piece of treat. That's it. Good boy. To the bite of that. And now we want to move to the next stage of Herbie feeling comfortable being turned round in his carrier. Oh, on cue. Excellent. Well done, Herbie. We'll give him some treats for that. So now he's facing in the direction we would want him normally to be travelling in, so we can see what's happening. We don't have the door on at this stage, so Herbie feels comfortable in that if he wants to leave the cat carrier, he can. There's nothing stopping him, so there's no need for him to panic at all. And so by building this up slowly, we make sure that he's always feeling in control and he's feeling comfortable about being in there. So by the time we add the door, he's already comfortable with the cat carrier, so he will not feel trapped. Now Herbie's come out, good boy, because he wanted to find the treats, but he's learnt that actually the treats don't come straight from the hand, they come from being in the cat carrier. That's what pays. Good boy. You can use a toy to lure your cat into the cat carrier, or as a reward for a game, or you can use gentle fuss if food is too arousing for your cat. And I use different things at different times with them to keep them interested. So we're going to leave it there for Herbie for now. Let's just see if he comes out the cat carrier by himself or if he settles down within there. This is really good because he's voluntarily been in there for quite a number of seconds now. I think he's going to play hunt treat if there's any he's missed. And notice now he's in there and quite comfortable. I don't need to use such a high rate of reinforcement with my treats. I don't need to deliver them quite as often. This isn't Herbie's first time by any means being in the carrier. So if this is your cat's very first time, or you're trying to redo and make a new positive association with the cat carrier, then your steps need to be quite slow. Not jump from one section to the next section too fast. Good boy, Herbie's just settled down a bit in the carrier. So I'm going to reward that with fuss rather than food, because sometimes food can be quite arousing and doesn't always lead to relaxed settle, depending on the cat. So I'm going to reward that with some nice gentle fuss. That's Herbie just started to purr, so that's a really good sign. Important if you're using your hand for fuss that you don't block the exit point for them. They can come out if they want to, like that. Herbie's come out because he thinks he'll get more fuss if he's out, but we ignore him now. We don't give him any fuss at all, because if he wants some fuss, he learns to go back in the cat carrier. As you can see, Herbie's voluntarily in his cat carrier, on his mat. You probably can't hear from the camera at the moment, but he's purring and he's quite content. He's not worried in any way. And so we're ready for the next stage, which is to introduce the door. So the door's on the carrier now. Good boy, Herbie. We're going to give him a biscuit for, there you go, a biscuit for exploring that door. He was sniffing it and facial rubbing against it. Good boy. And we'll feed him some treats from the back there because he's gone in past the door. And basically we just go through all the steps we did before, but this time with the door on. Door being open at first. Good boy. Good boy. He's turned himself around nicely, so I'm going to feed him from the front of the carrier. And because I'm going to be shutting the door, I sometimes find it easier to use a long treat like this one. So what I'm going to do is just break off a little bit. Whoops, he's come out to see what I'm doing. So the most important thing there is not to shut the door in his face. He knows that he goes back in to get his food. You can feed him from the front now because he's turning round. It's good. And while he's doing that, we'll just shut that for a second and feed him through it. And open it again so he doesn't feel panicked. And again, shut the door, feed him through it, and open it again. And we build this up gradually, a few seconds at a time, depending on your own cat. Shut the door, feed him through it, and I'll leave this one shut for a bit longer, and feed him again. Let him take a bite of that. Not hard to chew. Let's break it off. There you go. And open it again. Now if your cat comes straight out at this point, he's not comfortable with the door shut, so go back a stage. But as you can see, even with the door open, Herbie's not coming out. He's learned that actually now the thing that means he gets food is being in there with the door like that. Okay? And so we can build that up. So the next stage is to shut the door. So we'll let Herbie have a piece of treat while we're shutting the door. Locking that. He's very comfortable now. We've spent a lot of time practicing being in the cat carrier with the door closed. It's a chewy piece of treat, Herbie. Oops, you dropped that one. Have that one. And what we're going to work on now for Herbie is the cat carrier moving a little bit. So what I'm going to do is let it move and feed him a treat. Now he's quite nice and relaxed with this. He's not worried, he's alert, but he's not showing any signs of anxiety or distress. He's just losing his treats under his blanket, so I'll let him find them. If your cat was, then don't continue, go back a step. But what we're basically doing here is letting Herbie feel that the cat carrier does move. And do that while we're giving him something to eat, so that it's associated with a positive thing. Good boy. And we build that up gradually. The next stage, once they're comfortable with it moving, is to let them feel it lifting ever so slightly. So give him a piece of food and lift. We'll give Herbie something to eat, and at the same time we lift the cat carrier up. So Herbie associates the movement of the cat carrier being lifted with the food. And again. See the food, sweetheart? He's on board of that food treat. Let's try with a different one. Good boy. And as he's eating, lift and down. And we just build that right up until we're standing up, walking. Make sure you're holding the cat carrier, if possible, with both hands to keep it nice and stable. And we build that up gently, and then build it up to moving outside with the cat carrier and into the car.